Okay, now we'll see what is the difference between finally, finalize. Okay, let's look about final keyword. Okay, so final is a keyword, right? Where I can use the final keyword. I'll use final with class, method, and with variable, right? Let us see. Okay. Let us see what is how we can use final variable, right? Let us demonstrate final variable. Final variable. Okay. So final int equals to 6. Okay. I declared final variable. Okay. What is if I mentioned final to a variable, the purpose is I cannot change the value of that particular variable. Okay. I'm trying to reassign the value, but it's not accepted. Let us see. So I'm reassigning the value as some 10. See, it is giving me some errors. Let me focus my cursor. See here, the final local variable cannot be assigned. It must be blank and not using the compound assignment. So it is asking me to remove the modifier as a final. Okay. So if I mentioned variable is a final, so that means I cannot change the value of that variable which I mentioned while declaration. Okay. That's the concept of final variable. Let us see what is the final method. So if a method is defined as a final, it cannot be overridden. Let me define a variable. I'm sorry, let me define a method. Final method. Okay, like public final void final demo. Let me write final method. So this is my method. I'm trying to print it. Right. This is my final method. So as per the definition, my final method, let me write here, final variable cannot be reassigned. Right. So my final method cannot be override. Okay. So I'm declared a method, final method. Let me try to create another class. I'm trying to extend final demo 1. Oh, I didn't write final extend. I have my method name is final method, right? So just public void method. I'm just printing it is in my jet class, right? So let me over the mouse. So it is saying it cannot override the final method from final demo 1. So in my final demo 1 means in my parent class, I'm declaring this method as a final. So I cannot override this method in my child class because I'm declaring as a final method. Okay, all right. Let us see what is final class. Okay, if a class is declared as a final, it cannot be inherited or instantiated. Final class counting right. Let me create another class. So it is my final class demo. All right. So I need to define it as a final. All right. Click on finish. So my class is defined as a final here. Let me remove this comment. Let me create a method here. Okay, I'm creating a method. I'm printing all right. So I'm putting into final Java here. I'm trying to import the final class. So if I'm trying to inherit my final class demo. See, I'm right. Okay, so it is giving me some error. Let's mouse point on this. So it is giving me cannot subclass the final class. Okay, right. So what it is saying. So final class demo is defined as a final. So I can't able to extend this class. So that is what the final class. So it cannot be inherited. All right, so we'll see like what is final, what is where we use final is a keyword. So we'll use final with the class, method, and variable. So when we use final with the variable, it cannot be reassigned. So we cannot change the value once we declared a variable as a final. All right. So next, what is a method? If I declared a method as a final, it cannot be override in the child class. Okay, so we can use the same method, but it cannot be override. Right. Next, what will happen when we use a class as a final? So it cannot be inherited. Okay, I'm define my class as a final, so I can't extend this class. Okay, that's because of I created this class as a final. That's the thing. Okay, so this is very important and in the intro point of view. So be focused on this. Thank you. All right, let's look at it. What is finally? Okay, let me create a new class for that. Name it as finally demo. All right. Okay, so what is finally? Finally is a keyword, right? So it is a block of code that follows by try block. Okay, let me write down. So block of code follows by try. All right, it comes with a try block. Okay, so what is the use of it? So it will execute that finally block irrespective of the exception. Okay, let me show you. Active of the exception. Okay, all right. So usually it contains cleanup code. Right. Okay. So let me create a simple program. Keep my program, which is some error prone program. I'll keep it in my try block. Okay. Let me create x is equal to 0 and int y is equal to 5 and create a z as well equal to x by y. All right, let me print the value of z. Right, let me catch if any exception. Right, so right. Let me write my final block here. Finally, block executed. Let me say. Okay, right. So when my finally block is executed, so if any error occurs, so catch block will execute. So if error is not occur, then catch block is skipped. It will not execute. So if error occurs, means exception occurs or not occurs, so in any case, my finally block will execute. Okay. Usually I write some cleanup code here. So cleanup code in the sense, so I'm opening uh, my file. I'm trying to open my file. So I'll compulsory close in that file, right? So if any exception occurs, my close, if I write after end of the try, so it will not execute because I have exception, right? So that's the reason I'll keep my close or cleanup code will be in finally block. All right, let me execute this. right? So there is no exception. That's the reason it is printed 0 and finally block is executed. So error not exception not occurs, then finally block is executed. So let me try to produce an exception. Right. Let me see now. So what will happen? Exception occurs, then also my finally block is executed. All right. So it is not dependent upon the exception, right? So if exception occurs, then only catch block is executed. So my finally block is not dependent upon the exception. Okay. All right. Thank you. So we'll see what is finalize. Let me create a new class for that. Right. Okay. Finalize. Right. So what is finalize? Finalize lies is a method. All right. So is it is a cleanup process. It is a process. So before destroying the object, it will execute. So when it will called before object garbage collect. Sorry. Before object garbage collected. All right. So let me see. Public void finalize. Right. So I'm printing finalize method in work. Right. Let me write my normal method as well. So is the public void. Let me name it as a test. Right. Let me print test method. Right. We'll call it in main. So for that I need to create an object for finalize demo. Demo equals to new finalize demo. Right. So fd dot sta fd equals to I'm assigning value to null. After that I'll call corpus collector dot. Alright. So I'm calling my test here method. So I'm done with my object. So I'm assigning null. So let me call corpus collector. So it will destroy the object. So let me run now. So test method first, my test here is called. So executed whatever printed test method here. After that, before call base collection. So before destroying the FD object, so my finalize method is invoked. So whatever the method, what the statements I wrote before the garbage collector destroyed my object. So finalize method is invoked and I will execute the statements, whatever I wrote here. So this is the overridden method. So we have the same method in object class. So let me see here. So finalize method of object class performs no special action. It simply returns normally subclasses of object. Override this function. So see here, override so finalize in object. Okay, this is what finalize. Okay, so clearly know what is final, what is finally, what is finalize, and where we use, and we seen with an examples, right? Hope you all understood the concept. Thank you.